Good evening. If you'd like to listen to a grown adult, almost 38 years old, drone on for 10 or 15 minutes about a very expensive yet fun big wheel setup, well, you've come to the right place. We left things off maybe 4 years ago with this boot, which was the linerless version of this boot. But first, to clear up any headaches or questions, I am a 27.5 centimeter foot. I am a 10 in Adidas. I am a 10.5 in Vans. I am a 10 in my winter boots. And I am a 10.5 in my running shoes, New Balance. Very comfortable. So we left off that the early experimenting with Leon in his Big Wheels 2 section, where he discovered that you could get an SX Seba boot and put an Intuition liner in it and downsize. So in my early days in Wizard frame testing in Zone and 2015-ish, I was in a 42 SX with a V1 Intuition liner. Really, really tight fitting skate, but responsive. It felt like a hockey skate. I stubbed my toes a lot still, but it felt amazing. And then in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, there was an official linerless version of the Wizard skate where I sized up to a 43. That's because, and this is the one that I talked about in the last video, that's because this has, even though it's linerless, it has this material on the inside that kind of sizes it up maybe like a half size. So I went from a 42 to a 43. Hopefully you can see that. Is that right? Yeah. So you can see I went from a 42 to a 43. Both felt great. Stubbed my toes a little bit more in this one just because of my foot size. This didn't stub my toes in at all. I love this skate. You can see it's very well used. This is the skate that I use for MB7 and all the edits for a year or two. And you look at this one and it's still in really good shape. The only thing was in the summer heat, this, because it's, how old is this skate? This is the actual skate that you can see a shot of Leon gutting a skate in Zone, which is I think 6 years ago. And I'm pretty sure it's this skate. And apart from having to replace the cuffs, everything's in really good shape. This, yeah, in the heat, that came loose. But everything else was great about this skate. So because this didn't have the liner stuff, and he would even take, there was glue in the toe area that he would take out, I can't give any tips on gutting the SX or Sebas because I'm not a professional in that regard. Leon did these for me, but there are tutorials online if you are still interested in gutting the Seba. That's what it looks like on the inside. And just to be clear, this skate stock with the stock liner was the most painful skate. This in the 42. The liner was so thick in the CJ and SX that it would just push my toes right to the front. So I don't even know if I would fit in a 43 in the stock Seba. Not sure. I'm talking about with that, not gutted, just with the liner that comes with it. So Leon released, this was the Wizard boot, previous Wizard boot. Very well used. You can see some rips and tears. This fell off, but still intact and very good. And then it was the end of last year, end of 2019, where he released an updated version of the boot. And it's pretty much the same. On the inside. But the biggest change is the width in here and here. That on this one, it was, people would get pressure. I didn't really get it too much because I have quite a thin foot. People would maybe get pressure or stub their toes. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's hard to see, but there's way more room in the toe box on this version, and there's also, it's just a little bit wider feeling in the front, and it's also, for me, it's wider feeling in the heel area because this version I would just skate the Intuition liner, the V1, with no footbed because it was a downsize. This one I could have the V2 liner with a footbed. This one I can skate the V2 liner with, this is how I skate it, with the footbed underneath. And now, because there's more room in the heel, I skate with the shock absorber. There's something about the heel on this updated version where there's more room. So yeah, I can have a shock absorber now in it. This also, the cuff on the new one, I don't know if it's just because the new cuff, but it feels like it's made out of stiffer plastic. It could just be that over time, this is the only thing that you need to replace every year or 2 years, is this gets a little bit flimsy here and there. But you know, you don't have to if your skate feels really nice and broken in. So in this updated version, I'm in the 42, like my first version from Zone and Wizard Frame testing. I'm in the 42, but it fits more roomy in the toes, which is nice. So if you like a really nice tight fitting skate, I would recommend trying the tighter size, but this would still feel really good in a 43. But for big wheel, for grinding, I like a little bit more room. For this type of skate, I like a tight fitting skate, but I did enjoy the 43. I think I could skate both, but I am really enjoying this in. I'm enjoying this in. Now, talk about the updates to our UC wheels. The wheels that come on the most recent Wizard skate is the updated version of the undercover wheel. So there's the old green ones that made the goose sound when you slid on them. The core was a little bit more flexy and bouncy, and then the white version of the wheel has the updated core, which was I think a roller hockey brand power slide core, which has the reinforcement. It's a different like double spoked. This is like the hydrogen core, and then this has these double spokes, and then it has this kind of reinforcement thing that sticks out. You're not going to get the cool goose sounds with the updated wheel, but the core is snappier and stronger, and it's a little bit more responsive out of slides. It's hard to explain. Snappier is the best way I can describe these, and these were flexier. Some people that were heavier would break these or put little cracks, so that's why this one's updated. So you'll get this wheel but in green on the updated Wizard boot. We also have the updated wheel available in 90mm, which I'm excited to skate the 90 millimeters on the 100 millimeter Wizard. So now you're asking, what Wizard would you recommend? I get that asked sometimes. If you're new to Wizard and you have a smaller foot, I would say go with the 90. If you're feeling bold, the 100 millimeter Wizard is the sweet spot, in my opinion. So this is it on a 42 boot. But it's so hard to say. If you want the full Wizard experience, you might be shocked with the way that this feels at first, but I would say go with the hundreds. But if you want something that feels a little bit closer to 80 millimeter, that's more of an at-home feeling, more of a slalom-y feeling, start with the 90s. And if you have a bigger foot and you want to get really crazy, go with the 110s. The 100s are also really good for just general use. So distance skating, going really fast in the park, rougher pavement. I like the 100s personally for all the different things you can do. Todd prefers the 90s. And I want to get a pair of 110s again. I had 110s and then I gave them back to Leon and now I want them again. So to recap that, 90s fail safe. You're not going to have any shocking feelings of frame length. It's going to feel pretty nimble and maneuverable. 100's like the standard sweet spot in my opinion. And then if you have a bigger foot, or probably for if you like going really long distances, or you have a big foot, or you want to get really crazy, get the 110s. Another thing that I've been recommending a ton to people who they say, I love the Intuition liners. Where did I put that liner? Didn't I have oh, here we go. They say, I love the Intuition liners, but the one thing about the Intuition liners is the smell. I can tell you right now, I've been using these liners for 3 or 4 years. These were the first updated ones. It was a while ago, 4 years old. And I can tell you right now, they do not smell. They smell brand new. And I'll tell you the secret right now. I've been trying to spread the message on this one for a long time. I tried everything in the Big Wheels 1 and 2 era to get my liners, Intuition liners, not to stink. Because the problem is since it's a ski liner technology, so they keep the heat and the sweat in. Your foot stays warm. I mean, these have the ventilation holes, but still, after skating, they remain wet. And I tried washing them, soaking them, putting in the freezer. I tried all different things. I tried different sprays. All it took, this was the life-changing device right here. The Pete Boot Dryer. I've been using this since maybe the end of Wizard Frame testing. You finish your skating session, this plugs into the wall. You pop your boots on this, and they're dry and they smell brand new. If you wanna do an addition, I had this 2 Toms spray. I spray it a couple times. I'm not sponsored by 2 Toms or Pete. I'm actually paying them to talk about this right now. But this is the best spray that I've found. Spray this. You can even reverse currently stinky liners with this spray. Spray the shit out of the liners. Get a Pete Boot Dryer. I have a dream about skating road trips where there's a portable version of these dryers, and everybody after a skate session puts their liners in a portable version of these, and the car just smells completely normal. I'm telling you, I can even do things like take my skates into work and have them in the office and they don't smell like anything. Life-changing. Pete Boot Dryer, definitely invest in one of those. What else do I have to say? Oh, I forgot to say that I'm in the medium liner, medium V1 liner. I skated it in the 42 and the 43. I'm pretty sure that's how the Wizard is sold. And since this is a very early version of the liner, the newest one that comes with the bigger toe box is, I think, it's a little bit wider around here. It matches the toe box, but this still feels really good. Liner again, always using yellow super feet underneath the liner and in the boot. What else? Lastly, the other versions of the Wizard frame that are available. So here's the crazy 5x100 prototype I was skating. This felt amazing and I loved it, but the problem with this was the cuff. To control and drive this crazy thing, the cuff and the liner was so low that you needed more support, especially like up here and in the cuff, that this needed to go way higher to get the full power out of this. So I would slap a K2 cuff on this skate, which was the most support I could get, but still not great. And I was skating, if you ever saw any of the edits, this is the crazy Pro Tongue liner that I was skating in the boots. And this tongue is the hardest, stiffest material Intuition makes, and it goes all the way down to the front there. And then this is the hardest. It's really hard. Like you can't even really flex it. So that was the closest thing I got to something that felt good with the 5x100, but it's just not quite there yet. So I'll give you some insight. There was a prototype, the Ketchup and Mustard Pro Liner, that was made, but it was too small for my foot. That it was a mix between this liner. I think I said to Leon, I was like, if this liner had sex with this liner, and they really went for it because this does look like an offspring of the two. It has the super stiff tongue that goes all the way down and the super stiff inserts, but the problem was it was really short for my foot. I should be able to try and fit in that still. But something, it just didn't fit properly. Maybe I'll try this again. So this was an attempt at making something for the 5-wheel skate. And I have a sneaking suspicion that there's a version of this possibly in the works that's updated and way better, and it's actually meant for this, which is this is the PR80, this started as a 5x100 experiment, or sorry, 5x90, and then 5x100 were the two experiments, which led to the 5x80, which now has led to new conclusions about liners and cuffs and things like that. So hopefully in the future you'll see a liner that is made for this. But this still skates amazing on the current and previous Wizard boots. So this is if you're really into doing the flat ground stuff, or you want a lower ride on the Wizard frame, this is what you want. If you're afraid of the length, there's nothing to be afraid of, because it's really close to the 4x100. It's a little bit longer. I think it's the same length as the 110s maybe, but lower to the ground, and the weight's about the same too. This frame has been really fun for flat ground stuff. So if you're really into like the wizard tricks and things, this is what you want to get. I'm still exploring on this one. Now what else? I think that's everything. Lastly, if you want to see what a small Vem looks like against the 42 Wizard, it's almost exactly the same. But like in my Vem video, the toe box has a curve on it that might fit more feet. So if you are feeling bold and want to downsize, you can. Again, I've told you all of my foot length, my shoe sizes, and the sizes of wizards that I've used. Hopefully I've covered everything here. Oh, one last thing. I always joke about getting your setup dialed, and there is some truth to, if you get a wizard setup and it's brand new, you have to, one, break in the liner. I really like a liner without the wraps in my wizard skate. I skate it with the wraps for grinding and for aggressive skates. You got to break this in. It'll take 3 or 4 sessions, and you got to break your wheels in. You're not going to be able to. It's very dangerous to just try and do wheel slides right away in brand new wheels. That you want to get. It's kind of like the groove in aggressive skates or in your frames. You want to get the material worn off on the wheel, and you want to get these angles for how you slide and how you edge on your skates. So just a warning that if you buy them and they're brand new and you try and do a slide full speed down a hill, that's on you. You could stick. You gotta get it dialed. Get those angles. That's pretty much everything. Oh, and these are the same frames. These wizards are the same ones I've been skating since my last video. And they're amazing. You will not be disappointed with the investment. Look at all my switch skate. It looks brand spanking new. Because I do some slides on this one. It's got some scratches, but they're still in amazing condition. And I'm pretty sure the ones that I think Todd's 90 millimeters are the ones that he was using in wizard frame testing. So are those 6 years old, or they don't need to be replaced. They just keep going. So that's everything. Thank you for listening. If I missed anything, just ask questions. Keep skating or something.